Hello everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. Don't have to worry about sound since we're not doing a game today. Well, welcome. Happy Thursday, happy Friday, whatever time it may be, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining me. Thank you in advance to anybody who shows up late. Let's see who we have in the chat before we kind of jump into things. Hey Josiah, hey Zoe, hey Casey, hey Trucy, three of our wonderful moderators. Give them some love if you haven't done so already. Hey Kate, hey Melody, hey Eva, hey Max, hey Jonathan, hey Vulen, hey Jen. And did I say hi Eva? If not, you get two highs. Well, no, hey Toby. Looks like we got a whole cast of regulars here. I love it. I love it. So, yeah, I was going to do a game tonight, but I decided I wasn't really feeling it, and also I took way too long to put up the live stream because life has just been happening, and that's part of the reason why I'm taking a break for a little while. You know, just trying to figure out my life and all the stressors that are in it, and just wanting to restructure things to make it. I was trying to think of something more profound to say there, and nothing came out. But, you know, I still want to do the channel, so don't worry about that. I just don't know exactly when. Taking a break for the rest of December and probably at least early January. But yeah, kind of just want some time to, you know, get all my ducks in a row or whatever that expression is. Thank you, Casey. I know all of you always have my back, and I always appreciate all of the love that you have. Yeah. We want to thank everyone who has shown support in some way. We love and appreciate you. Yes, yes, everything Casey says. But yeah, you know, as all of you know, I am a full-time PhD student, which is exhausting, and being a full-time psychology PhD student can be especially exhausting because I have a full-time internship next year, and I've been in the process of filling out applications, and then now I have interviews trickling in, so that's going to be my next like month and a half. And then I got to do my dissertation, and then I have another semester class. It's like a lot for just like the next 5 months. But, like I said, you know, I also have found myself not having the energy to... Oh, thanks, Mel. Also, I've found myself not having the energy to do videos sometimes, and kind of just... I feel like every video resonated with somebody, but sometimes I'm like, I feel like I'm just putting out videos for the sake of putting out videos. But yeah, I kind of just want to figure out like what direction do I want to take the channel in that feels more structured, more fulfilling, more fun. And I'm sure y'all will support me however this turns out. Life is intense these days, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like COVID still going on top of everything else, just adds that whole extra layer of stress. Oh, thank you, Mel. So, anyways, yeah, I mean, if y'all have any questions or comments for me, please let them trickle in during the chat. I don't know a whole lot yet. Just want to go on a little quest to figure out my life. And, you know, something that always helps me with that very natural transition here is tarot. And I haven't had the time or energy to do that as much as I would like either, so very sad. The tipsy army marches behind you always. Thank you, Casey. Yeah, and I'm hoping maybe I can dedicate a little more energy to be a little more active. Start making sexy memes. I do want to get back into doing something a little more regular on Instagram, just to keep everybody in the loop, and also just to, you know, show off my cat. Because Tipsy always needs to be shown off. Looking gorgeous as always. Thank you, Max. Sexy memes. If you have any ideas for memes, if you have any ideas for directions, any ideas for fun things, Because I do feel very disconnected from the world these days a lot of the time, just with the busyness of life and then so many things still being online and weird. So, yeah, something to help me feel more connected. I think no matter what, you will hit your goals because you're awesome. Thank you, Toby. Thank you. Trying to believe that, trying to, you know, instill that. And, you know, why don't we have some wine too while we're doing this? Because, you know, it's Friday somewhere. I also have to show off just today. I got a new tarot deck from a good friend of mine, Jose. If he may or may not show up in the chat. Sometimes he creeps in. But it is a zombie tarot, and that's backwards. But, you know, it's like zombie, like, themed tarot cards, and a lot of the art is like very, like, I feel like 1950s-esque style, so pretty good. Forget Friday, it's after 5 p.m. somewhere. Yes. Join the Discord chats a little more often. Yes, that is something I want to do too, Mel. Meme reviews and discussing random news can be a light type of video with a few good points or messages. They also seem to be really popular. Yeah. Yeah. Well, if y'all want to send me stuff, send me memes. Maybe that's what I can do on Instagram and post and stuff. Be like, send me your memes, and I can create a database and then have stuff to come back to. Because I do want to incorporate, I think I mentioned it in my last stream 2 weeks ago, that I do want to incorporate more, like, of all the stuff that I'm learning in therapy, because I think we can always use more skills and reflection and perspective and relaxation and mindfulness and being able to deal with our emotions and all that fun stuff. Finally got hired today for a day job, and now I have a girlfriend. That's awesome, Toby. The meme base. Hey, Liam. Nice to see you in the chat. All right. Well, anybody have a question to kick off the tarot? And we can have a nice zombie theme start. Because it's always October. It's always October. It's always spoopy in my world. If you have any questions, you know, just as a reminder for those of you that are new and fresh, which I think pretty much everybody that's showing up in the chat are regulars, and I love that. You know, just any question, you want any guidance, any clarity, anything on any struggle, concern, question, mystery, whatever in your life, the tarot can help. But we can always start with a simple reading as well. About to come out of work, I'm terrified about how it's going to go. Do you want to do a reading related to that, Jen? Like, what would be a good way to frame that? Yeah, thinking the same thing, exactly. Fun time at Troyska. Welcome. First live stream, that's awesome. Sadly, this will be my last live stream for a little while. Okay, so how can we frame Jump Street Jen's question? I'm about to come out at work, and I'm terrified about how it's going to go into a nice tarot question. My first thought is like, what can I do to, or what can you do, Jen, to help make the process, the transition, if you will, as smooth and painless as possible? You can kind of do a little thing that can help identify any obstacles and maybe how you can overcome them. Because, you know, we don't know how it's going to go. It could go really well. Hopefully it won't go really bad. It could be pretty neutral. We have good reason to worry being trans. Will my transition go smoothly? Hi, Fohammer. Welcome. Okay, I'll keep that for a second. So we can do... Yes, that works for me. Okay, so we'll do a 3-card spread where we have a current situation, obstacle, advice. Let's try that. These are interesting. I do not have enough room on my computer desk. That's another thing I need to do. We got obstacle, what is it? Situation, obstacle, advice. Okay, we start out with... This is lovely. We have the Page of Wands. A baby zombie chewing on a bone. How lovely. A little darker than our some of our previous ones. So a lot of the wands are actually bones. That's very interesting. The Page of Wands. Okay, so we got about need for growth, youthful, big goals. May tell you this is a time for growth to do things for yourself and maybe you can't be reliant on others. You need a better chair. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. That is forever a work in progress. I sometimes forget that I need another chair until then I sit in the chair again for these streams. So let's see. Page of Wands. Express yourself. Marketing. Hard worker, dedicated, can influence. Okay. Yeah. So multiple meanings we could have here. You know, some of this is telling us, you know, it's a time to, you know, step into your strength and express yourself. It could also be, you know, good news is on the horizon. So that could be something, you know, even though some of these, there we go, Chloe, situation, no desk space. Advice to get a bigger desk. There we go, there's another tarot spread. So our current situation is, you know, we're uncertain. You know, there's a struggle around expressing yourself at work and uncertain how this is going to go. So uncertain on the nature of how things will be received. And our obstacle is the Magician, who looks like a mad scientist with a bone saw. How lovely. So if we remember, the Magician is one of our major arcana. I believe very early in the deck. Okay. Magician is our 1 in the arcana. And, you know, the arcana is kind of a journey through, you know, taking risks and starting a new adventure and going from there. And the Magician is the 2nd card in our major arcana that tells us it's time for action, communicating and expressing your ideas. So expressing yourself is a theme here. Blessed with a magic wand, you have the ability to transform whatever you choose, and in this way, the Magician is a very positive card, directs you to make the most of your skills and talents and step into your power. This card can also show a significant journey, because it's the start of a journey. It is the start of a new journey for Jen. So, you know, step into your power of this magical magician doing all the mad science. Or, you know, the more traditional tarot, we have this guy. Mad Surgeonist. Yeah, I've never used this deck before, so this will be interesting. But yeah, so the obstacle is, you know, it is a significant new journey that you're going on, coming out at work, wondering if it's going to go well, and, you know, struggling with the fact that you're maybe fully expressing yourself for the first time at your job. Maybe doing, you know, all the things you've been doing outside of work. Maybe this is the first time you're doing it at work, and it's exciting and scary, and there's positive hope. The Magician is telling you that, you know, transformation is on the horizon, and that is a good thing, just as long as you're able to realize that you have the strength and skills already. Just remember, like, the strength and skills that allowed you to take the steps you have already taken in your transition, and you can apply those to, your workplace transition. Once I'm out at work, I'm out everywhere and can finally be full-time. Yeah, I feel like that's common for a lot of us. Hey, Sammy. And hello, anybody else who may have shown up. Been looking into the deck. We have the Page of Swords. It looks like they're about to take down a zombie. So swords, they're about passion and vigor, and we got 2 pages pointing out our advice here. The Page of Swords brings us advice. An individual is charming, clever, and very good company. Youthful, quick-fire brain, forthright, a good ally, turns challenges into opportunities, curious, open. So this is telling us one of the possible interpretations is rely on your intelligence. Again, knowing that you have the skills, knowing that you know best who you are and what you need. And we can see if this offers us any different interpretations. Page of Swords, inquisitive, headstrong, observant, intelligent, thoughtful, curious, so very similar. Not afraid to ask a lot of questions, help you get all the facts before you make an important decision. So I could see this as, you know, trusting that you know what you need best in this situation, and also not being afraid to ask questions and reach out for help for any concerns that you are still having at this point. If there's specific parts or specific people that you're concerned about, specific parts of your job, whatever it may be, you know, this could be telling us, you know, ask those questions to people that feel safe in your life, that you trust, and especially if there are people that you work with that you're already maybe outside of work. Because I know that was part of my process, gradually coming out to people that I trusted at work before making a big announcement. But I know some people just come out to everyone at once. So really, I see this as really step into your power. You know, good news will come if you're able to step into your power and, you know your worth, know your skills. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. And know that you don't deserve any bullshit for just coming out and being yourself. The only person I'm out to is my boss, and she's super supportive. So that could be somebody the Page of Swords is telling us to reach out to. You know, you got any concerns, which I'm sure you probably already talked to your boss, but if you have any concerns and questions, any ways that she can support you, like, now is the time. Now is the time. Because I think it's always good to be prepared for these big, scary steps. But the cards are telling me that it is going to be difficult, but it should go well. That is how I'm interpreting it. As long as you remember to believe in yourself and trust yourself and step into the confidence that you've had this whole time. Person of authority in your corner, yes, that always helps. Having an ally at work, especially if there's somebody in authority. Definitely getting some Five Nights vibes off the Page of... All right, we had a couple questions. I know... How long have you been doing tarot? I do it sometimes, but I'm kind of rusty. I've been doing it for like 2.5 years, but I don't do it as regularly as I would like. And I haven't spent a whole lot of time like really reading and learning, kind of just like learning as I go and reading the books as I go. I have several books that I want to go through. But let's see, what else do we have? Memes. Will my transition go smoothly? Okay. And will we ever get over my wife's health issues and be able to start a family soon? Okay. Good luck. Hope you get an HRT. Yes. So, will my transition go smoothly? Is that a question you want to ask the tarot foe? And then we can go to Zoe's question, or we can go to Zoe first, if I'll let y'all decide. And remember, you know, I have multiple decks. If you want zombies, I have that, but I also have the, you know, yokai deck based off of, you know, aspects of Japanese spirits and mythology. Cool, fun stuff. We got the little facts. And then I have that kind of dark-ish, colorful, lots of like LGBT stuff kind of infused into the other tarot deck. Let Zoe go first. I'm too afraid of the answers. Okay. That is okay. If you're not ready for the answers, that is okay. And the tarot, it's not set in stone. It's just meant to provide insight and guidance. And we can use the information to help forge our own path in a way that feels fulfilling. Just kind of to help us move forward. Who's first? Goes into auctioneer voice. Yeah. Okay, will we ever get over my wife's health issues and be able to start our family soon? Let's see what we might be able to do for that. Okay. Okay, we got a special... special. I'm looking at some of these unique spreads that this zombie deck has, because these could be fun. Okay. Okay. Well, we have one that is called a little bit morbid. I guess this whole deck is morbid. The 6-card spread, so you get a little bonus, Zoe. It is shaped like a gravestone, but it's meant to help us identify and deal with important issues in our lives. So, you know, I think we have a sense of the issue. Or maybe this will help us, you know, get even clearer on what some of the underlying issues are. So we got 6 cards. Our first card represents kind of a central question we're struggling with, and then we kind of go from there. And oh, interesting. Okay, got a good spread here. So we'll start with the first card, which kind of represents the central question. Kind of trying to keep this stupid thing open. Central question in your life. We have the Knight of Pentacles, or called the Knight of Hazards, because for some reason they're called hazards in this deck. I guess that has to do with, you know, a zombie outbreak. Maybe hitting on the nose a little bit too much in today's world. Living in a pandemic. And of course, like I said, this is just meant to be like a guide, so if things don't fit, that is okay. Because you obviously know things more than I do about your own situations. But, central question. Okay. So, well, as we know, the Pentacles is about like the material world, which can include, you know, home, money, job, relationships, often applied to like finances, but it can be applied more broadly to just kind of the material world. And, you know, I kind of interpret this in the context of our question. You know, one meaning of the Nine of Pentacles is like the knight is here to help find a secure home with a partner. And, you know, I could see that as the central question in terms of like, will you be able to create the home that you want? Because it sounded like you wanted to, you want to start a family. You want to start a family. So, you know, the knight is telling us that, you know, will your home ever be the place that maybe you imagined it to be? And, you know, kind of going from there, our second card kind of tells us like what forces are acting on this question, kind of giving us additional clarity. We have another Pentacles, the Page, and this could be part of, you know, cards next to each other popping up in a new deck. Tried to shuffle, but I think the tarot always gives us the cards we need for a reason. So this gives us a little more clarity. Bye, Melody. Love you. Your videos are helpful. Nice. Thank you, Fritzl, and welcome. Hi, I got a little dog. Okay. So the Page of Pentacles are this person. Hardworking, methodical, reliable, dedicated, practical, and trustworthy. Has a lot of vigor. Maybe pursuing new ventures, new starts, new excitement. Potential to achieve great things. This is a person who will not give up. So, you know, just like a lot of the Pentacles, this is about like this one's particular is about like new beginnings, new adventures. Thinking in the context of the material world, you know, establishing a new venture is what this says. But I mean, if we think of this in the context of family, you know, this could highlight like the desire to start a new venture, or with that venture being a family. And, you know, this tells me that, you know, maybe you feel like you're being denied an opportunity that you and your partner want and deserve. And, you know, this new venture, this opportunity is not turning out the way you want it to. So it might require some creativity on your part. Because, you know, the Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles is a very practical person, reliable and dedicated, somebody who won't give up. So, you know, kind of expanding on that, we could see this as, you know, maybe your family will not turn out the way you envisioned it or imagined it, but with some creativity, you could still create a family that helps both of you feel fulfilled. Thank you for your video. Good night, Jen. Hope you have a great holidays as well. We have our four. Our four of hazards. It would help if I read what the suit was or what this was from. This card represents how other people affect you. Interesting. Apologize if this reading might be a little muddled. I've never done this spread. We're getting a lot of the material world. Good. The need for stability and establishing a firm foundation. If you've suffered a hardship, this could show tough times are over. Providing a strong foundation for a growing family may be important to you now. Okay. Additional meaning, okay. Money is valuable value, what you have achieved. Okay. So a lot of these are about establishing a secure base. You know, we got this guy. Looks like he has some sort of fallout shelter, stocking up on supplies, getting a sense of stability and security to, you know, save himself from the zombie horde, and it looks like from other people as well. This represents how other people affect you. How might we interpret this one? The Four of Hazards, the Four of Pentacles. How other people affect you. I mean, we could interpret this in several ways. If we think of it in the context of other people, it could be other people seeing a sense of stability in your life that maybe you don't have but wish you had, putting on a positive face, a positive demeanor for other people. But it could also mean that, you know, someone in your life or some people in your life may feel like they're interfering with your ability to start this family. And I'm not sure how helpful this reading is, but we'll keep going. We have the Queen of Swords. Check out that, that's an interesting sword she's holding. And these are very, very dark cards. Card represents circumstances affecting your life. That's good. We got a new suit here. The Queen of Swords, an astute strategist, highly ambitious, be determined and stand strong. So the Queen of Swords is somebody who is independent, willing to take risks. Yeah. Ability to see a bigger picture. Placed near negative cards in a reading, the Queen shows strength in adversity. So she's just somebody who is ambitious, independent, strong, can handle a zombie horde, maybe on her own, with this powerful semi-automatic sword she's holding. And yeah. So this represents circumstances affecting your life. Well, I like to think that we as trans people are resilient and strong and able to handle adversity. So the Queen of Swords is telling us, you know, you have the ability to handle, you know, as difficult of a situation, and I don't know all the details, I don't know many of the details, as difficult of a situation as you may be in, think back to all the things you have been through and accomplished up to this point to remind you that you do have the strength that the Queen of Swords is reminding you that you have. You know, it's reminding you to stand and stay strong and be determined. And, you know, if there's something you want in your life in terms of a relationship and a family, you know, the Queen of Swords will take risks, will think outside of the box, will be ambitious, will find a way to make things work. You know, the Queen can see the bigger picture, like I said, and that can allow you to adopt a new perspective. But just know that there's a lot of adversity in your life, and the Queen of Swords is here to remind you that you have the strength. But thinking outside of the box and seeing the bigger picture. Because I'm not sure what is happening in terms of health issues that you mentioned, but, you know, stay strong. And stay strong for your partner and encourage your partner to do the same. And like I mentioned, it may not turn out the way you envisioned it or expected it, but the Queen of Swords is telling you that you have the ability to get through to the other side. And we have... card represents who or what is available to help you. We have the Tower. This is interesting, because the Tower is historically not the most positive card in the tarot deck. Let's see, number 16. 16 in the Major Arcana. Tower is about sudden change. The collapse of a dream or an ideal. It's inevitable. It's due to forces outside of your control. You know, common depictions of the Tower are very grim. Often, you know, a strike of lightning, a fire, something collapsing. And, you know, it's just something very much outside of your control that you probably can't even plan for. It's a huge shift. And, you know, that all probably, understandably, sounds bad. And how do we interpret this? This represents who or what is available to help you. Well, it feels like your life is falling apart. That could be an interpretation here, and it could feel like there's a change that is happening or going to happen that is going to be far outside of your control. We could think of these health issues as being something that neither of you wanted, neither of you planned for. It's out of your control, and it's causing an ideal situation that you want to not happen the way you want to. And it's frustrating because it is outside of your control. So because of this, you feel confused, lost, and vulnerable. And at this point, all we can really do is, I mean, one thing we can do is tap into some acceptance, and we don't have to be okay with what's happening, but it might be a time to try to accept the reality of the situation. And that just means, you know, being like, this is what's happening, and I'm not saying that this is a good thing. I'm not saying that this is something I want. This is not something I'm approving of, but I'm accepting that this is the reality, because that can allow us to have a better perspective on how to move forward from the problem. And that is the positive in the Tower, is that, you know, things are tumbling down, but it can also provide clarity, because we can think of this in the metaphorical or literal sense, depending on our situation. The walls are coming down. That can allow enlightenment. That can allow something new to be illuminated. It can create a new perspective. You know, we can even think of this as a tower we've built inside our minds, a tower that has maybe blocked or created issues in our lives, and it's collapsing. And maybe it protected ourselves from things in the past, and now it's no longer serving us. And it's scary, because now we have to create a new foundation, but we have the opportunity to create a new foundation that can help us move forward. I mean, a lot of this I see in this reading is just like, you have the tools, you and your partner have the tools, but it is very hard and feels like everything's falling apart. But don't remember how strong you are to get to the point where you are today. And our final card represents the outcome of the situation. We have strength, measured in bullets. R11. Sometimes strength, sometimes justice in our traditional tarot. So, you know, very basically, strength tells us there will be a positive outcome. So this is a good way to end this reading. And this is again reminding us that the strength comes from within. We could see that, you know, in the very literal sense of like, this is a picture of seeing inside somebody's head. This says you've stared down the zombie horde and they blinked first. Or they would have if they only had working eyelids. You've learned to trust your instincts and stay on your chosen path. Use that resolve to get a second wind. And use that resolve when life gets a second wind and tries to get in your way. And if we look to the more traditional tarot, you know, this tells us that, again, there will be a positive outcome. And this is a time where, you know, choices are presented to you. There are decisions to make that will impact your future, which I know is a very broad thing to say. But this is about, like, there is a decision that is going to be made in the near future, and the outcome will be positive. You know, you may feel like you're at a crossroads right now, but, you know, this card shows that there is a logical, intentional, considered influence arriving in your life. It's about empowerment. It's about strength. This says it is the time where your left brain will take a left brain approach to take control. Is that the logical side of the brain? Whatever it may be, the mathematical side of the brain. So we got tapping into intelligence here. So we put it all together. What does it mean? How do you feel about that? You're such a strong woman, Chloe. Thank you, Liam. I don't know anything about tarot. That's what make you happy, yeah. Pretty much just afraid. So thoughts, Zoe. I mean, if we put all this together, I mean, as you probably know better than anyone, you are in a situation that feels scary and not what you wanted and out of your control, but kind of leaning into your partner, leaning into the situation, leaning into the strength you have within can help you adopt a new perspective and help you make some decisions that maybe not get you the outcome that you envisioned, but an outcome that still brings fulfillment and joy. And, you know, multiple of these cards are telling me that you have a ton of strength. And I believe that from everything. Everything I know about you, Zoe. It's very helpful. I am glad to hear it. I know I saw somebody in the chat say, like, the tarot always has the answers. I don't know if that was Toby. Okay, who's next in the spread? I know I take a while on these readings, so a lot of questions fly by. But I want everybody to, you know, get a good reading. Okay, well, we'll go to you, Fo, since you were, I think, the first person to ask a question. Oh, thank you. I always feel calm. Hi, Fem Warrior. I don't know if I said hi yet. Yeah, I'll start with Bo as Casey, who is much more organized than I am during the streams. Compiles. Yep. Will my transition go smoothly? Okay, let's see what sort of spread might we want to ask? No. Okay. Well, and just remember, regardless of how the cards turn out, this is not a done deal. It just provides insight, because if you don't like the outcome that the tarot tells us, you know, that can tell us that, like, you know, if we behave in certain ways, we may work towards an outcome we don't want, but if we shift how we're approaching things, we can move towards an outcome that's more aligned. Because sometimes when the cards tell us something bad's going to happen, it could be that, you know, if we don't make certain changes or don't take certain approaches, take certain risks, that we will go towards that trajectory. We have the very aptly named, we'll do a nice long spread for this, insight check. Casey's got the next. We have these are also sadistic, but it is zombie themed, the severed head. That is what I'm going to do for your spread. Because it says, even with a good head on your shoulders, it's still hard to get a complete look at your surroundings. This spread solves the issue nicely, allowing for a 360-degree perspective on a situation. So that this is going to give us insight into relevant forces in your past and your future that can help us figure out your journey. Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay. Interesting. Here we go. We start with our good old friend, the King of Cups. And let me find my tarot book. One of these days I'll know these better off the top of my head. But, you know, that day is not today, and that is okay. You know? Acceptance. So if you remember, cups are usually about strong emotions, you know, tapping into the emotional side of our lives, of our hearts, of our minds. And the King of Cups shows a warm-hearted, charismatic person. Well, let's see. This represents the primary issue in your life, the first card. Sensitive, needs to choose close friends wisely. May have one or two confidants and a wide circle of acquaintances. Tries to control feelings and sometimes can come off as distant. May need a lot of time to process intense emotions before sharing them. So, one of the most basic ways we can interpret this is tapping into the charismatic power, the empathy, the strength of emotions. The King of Cups is about following your heart. And it might tell us more deeply that there is a conflict that is making it difficult to follow your intuition and let your heart lead the way. And this represents the primary issue here, where one interpretation, will your transition go smoothly, is, you know, you're struggling how to best follow your heart to get to the life that you want to live and that you know you deserve to live. And, you know, you feel unable to maybe tap into the strengths that the King of Cups is offering us. So let's get some clarity on what we can do about this. So we have the Ace of Wands. Look at that beautiful, beautiful bone. The Eighth of Wands. And aces are usually about new beginnings, Just kind of new beginnings, new energy. Where are you, wands? So far, yes. You feel like I cage up my emotions and feel easily stuck. And if it makes you feel better, you are far from the only person that does that. I think it's especially common for a lot of us who are trans. We bottle up who we are because we feel like it's unsafe to really express what's really going on the inside. Okay. Okay, the Ace of Wands. Make sure I'm reading the right card. Okay. The Ace predicts new beginnings. Happy card, creative work. This Ace, you experience a flash of inspiration. Additional meaning, adventure. One Ace brings focus on the life according to... Okay. Let's get an additional interpretation here. Ace of Wands. Yep, new tasks, motivation, energy. You got energy, an extra jiggle in your step. I don't know how I feel about that phrasing. And it's got nothing to do with the rapidly decomposing muscles in your legs. Okay, zombie theme. Okay, the Suit of Wands overflows with creative energy. Tap into this new cycle. This is your chance to shine. So, if we think back, this card in the spread represents the distant past in your life. So the card's about new beginnings, but we're talking about the distant past, and this is about embracing change and about stepping into the energy, stepping into, what was that chance to shine. So, you know, one interpretation here could be that the Ace of Wands, you may think that you've missed that chance, that it's too late, that, you know, that it's too late to come out, it's too late to transition, that you've passed your prime, so to speak, that spark of energy maybe occurred in the past but is no longer here, and it's kind of, it could feel disheartening. And of course, I want to say that it is not true that it is too late to transition. You can transition at any point in your life. But I understand the feeling. And, you know, that could be you mourning a past and present that you were unable to have due to the world thinking that you are somebody that you are not. The Three of Wands. This represents the more recent past. Julian, do you feel uncomfortable? Yeah, it made me feel uncomfortable too, but I just had to read it. So we have the Three of Wands. What do we got here? So it's like we got a little party on the inside and outside, a zombie party. Three of Wands is one of the tarot's good fortune cards. So we again have success. We again have exciting adventure. This card, imminent changes in the future, seeing your plans realized. Time for self-expression. This card also favors individuality and nonconformism. And this is the time to pride yourself on any quirks or eccentricities and let others see all you have to offer, rather than the aspects of which you assume they are most comfortable with. I feel like that part is sticking out to me. Yeah, so this is the recent past. So this could be telling me that, you know, maybe you've probably been considering this for some time. Maybe, you know, there was a point in the past where you were going to transition and maybe for whatever reason you didn't. Maybe it's something that you're always like, I need this to happen first before I can do it, or I'll do it next month, next year, and that time never comes. Next month is always next month. And, you know, part of this may be because you have all these components of who you are, but you're afraid of how other people will receive it, and you behave in ways to try to keep other people in your life comfortable while sacrificing your own comfort. And so, you know, the Three of Wands is telling us, you know, learning from the past, it's good to have patience and calm and think things through, but it's also good to tap into those parts that make you authentically you. And in the recent past, and probably further off in the past, you maybe denied those parts of yourself. We have the Seven of Wands. This represents the present. We have a spread of wands. I have to hide from mine. Never too old. Hey, Erica. Gosh, Chloe hit that nail on the head. I feel that too. I feel like I can use some of my therapy skills when I do tarot readings too. So I think that's part of the reason I like tarot. Just a lot of insight and kind of leaning into your emotions. Seven of Wands reveals obstacles in your path, but you will keep going and overcoming them. So, this is the present. The obstacle is worrying about your transition and whether it will go smoothly. Or we could even see this as the obstacle could be you. That you want to start your transition, but there's all these worries, all these fears that are getting in the way. And some of these are probably, a lot of these are probably very real and very valid and very much out of your control. But, you know, I see this as, you know, this is a time to maybe step into your courage, step into your strength, because these obstacles are hard, but you will be able to overcome them. And, you know, I'd hate to see you be one of those obstacles towards your own happiness. I'm feeling attacked. Well, that's what I'm here for. Friendly attack. I attack with a loving hug. So, yeah. Guarded the Advocate, and you may find yourself to stand. Okay. Another meaning of this is like, you know, the Seven of Wands is somebody who stands up for others. This could tell us that it's time to stand up for yourself and advocate for yourself. They are hurdles, but you are able to get over them because they are temporary. And you have the courage, you have the strength. You know, think of all the challenges you've gotten through in your life up to this point. And this is new and scary, as any challenge can be, and I would say, and most people I think would agree with me, that transition is probably one of the biggest and scariest challenges, but it also is probably, I mean, for me, I can say definitely the most fulfilling thing that I've ever done in my life, the most fulfilling gift I've ever given. So, you know, we can interpret this as the obstacle is hard, but overcoming it is worth the effort it will take to do that. And now we have the immediate future. We have the Temperance card. Temperance. I don't normally draw this one in any of my readings. It's interesting because there's some cards I see a lot and some cards, I think there's probably some cards I still have never ever drawn. Okay. This is the immediate future. This is turning into a group therapy session. All of us who kept telling ourselves that we couldn't transition for years. Yep. Tell me how you really feel. Temperance shows that you are dealing with a potentially volatile situation, and it's time to temper your thoughts and actions to find balance and harmony. So, this means choosing neither one nor the other, but blending two opposing forces to create an inspired solution. Tells you not to resist, but accept multiple sides of a situation and be guided by what feels most natural to you. It's time to reconcile areas of your life that feel out of sorts. Be hands-on, because what matters now is action. Okay. So, what matters now is action. Your immediate future. And I don't know if I'd describe transition as volatile, but stressful. Stressful for sure. I mean, maybe volatile fits. There's lots of unknowns and uncertainties, so perhaps. But, you know, this is taking a time, telling us to take time to really step back, take a deep breath, find ways to find balance in our lives. Put that right side up. And, you know, really just take a very level-headed perspective on what is it that we want. And realize that, you know, we've probably been thinking and mulling over these things for a while, mulling over transition and how it could go, the possible infinite, you know, constellation of outcomes that could occur. But now it's time to take a step back and consider the possibilities, consider the options, and take action. I mean, the most obvious two choices here, if we look at kind of choices or opposing forces here, we could see two sides of the situation: transition or don't transition. And this is a time to really step back and see what is it that each of these paths is telling you. You know, because there's definitely pros and cons to any decision that we make in our lives. And we kind of have to ask ourselves, what decision has the best pros and the most manageable cons? And, you know, it's a time of like, neither choice is easy, you know, because we're giving up something, or we're giving into something stressful, opening up new uncertainties in our lives. Because putting off transition offers like security and stability, but it often denies ourselves of happiness and fulfillment. And, you know, pursuing transition offers us opportunity, excitement, fulfillment, authenticity, but it brings a lot of scary uncertainty. So it's a time to really think about what it is that you want, why it is that you want to transition, and, you know, why is it that transition is what you need, perhaps? Because, you know, we all have our reasons, but usually it's because we're showing up in the world as a way that doesn't fit who we are, and we're tired of doing that. And temperance is telling us, take a step back and find some harmony, and then take action once we have some clarity. Too real. Stressful for sure. You don't have to take HRT to be trans. Many people actually don't choose to transition other. Absolutely. Yep, you do not. You do not have to take HRT to be trans. There is no one way to be trans. There's no correct way to be trans. And this card represents factors that will affect the outcome. Here we go. We're getting to the juicy bits. That sounded weird saying that. Anyways, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Look at this refined zombie lady. The Queen of Pentacles. A reliable woman is what this says. Well-off, generous, supportive, affectionate, wise. You know, somebody who has years of wisdom or is wise beyond their years. Somebody who really cares for others and maybe does work that benefits a lot of other people, or benefits people in very impactful ways, or there's a desire for this. You know, this is telling you it's a time to care for your body. And tells us it's a time to find support and be able to find support and wisdom from people in your life. So yeah, that's interesting. Time to care for your body. That's interesting for this picture. But what do we have here? This is factors that will affect the outcome of the issue. Okay. So how can we interpret this in the context of everything we've said so far? Well, one way we can interpret this is the common thing that no trans person ever does, putting the needs of others above our own. Because that's what, one of the things, not necessarily putting the needs of others above her own, but one of the things the Queen does is very much prioritize the needs of others. And we want to make sure we're not doing that to the detriment of ourselves. Again, going back to that piece of silencing part of ourselves with the attempt or intention of making other people comfortable, are showing up in ways that aren't authentic because we assume they won't be comfortable with who we authentically are. And, this is just one of the many ways we can, show up and be concerned and try to care for others and think that we're caring for others. But this is a time to turn that inward. The positive things that you'd say to the people you love, say those to yourself. Time to tap into that strength and affection and care that maybe you're able to give to others, and now is the time to give it to yourself. Because I don't know, speaking for myself, and I think other people can relate, but, I think realizing that transition is what I needed, and then transitioning is one of the first times that I probably fully started expressing love for myself. The juicy bits. That sounded weird saying that. I love how you're always pulling the quotes, Casey. All right, we have the Page of Cups. Oh, look at that. Look at that cute pail full of brain. How adorable. Little kid on the beach finding a brain. This represents our outcome. The Page is a dreamer. Highly emotional and intuitive. Generous, sometimes to a fault. Feels like everything I was just saying. Very similar to the Queen of Pentacles in some ways. But, the Page is somebody who dreams, somebody who likes to have fun, who taps into their intuition, somebody who is good and happy and friendly with others, basically just exuding lots of positive energy into the world, into themselves, into their relationships. Somebody who favors creativity and imagination, who kind of jumps at opportunities. And also, the Page tells us if you have periods of insecurity and doubt, the Page assures you that all is well and good times are ahead. So, this represents the outcome. So this most literal translation, the most succinct translation. Hello, Fluffy Sealgasis Biomasarda. Oh shit, that fucking hits me like a truff. Well, if you need to cry, that's okay. We're here for support. But our last card is telling us things are going to be okay as long as you lean into allowing yourself to really enjoy life. Many of us can probably see that once we start transitioning, that's when we can allow ourselves and give ourselves the permission to start being ourselves, and then other things fall into place where we can start enjoying and finding our passions. Because I feel like once I found out who I was able to figure out the other pieces of my life. I mean, still, it's a lifelong process, but it opened more doors, so to speak. Kind of release some of the blocks. It's kind of like when one struggle is resolved, at least somewhat, it can help other struggles kind of come to light and be resolved as well. And the Page of Cups, tap into the exciting, fun parts of being able to be your authentic self in the world. And, the Page is telling us that you will be received well for that. That, people are going to gravitate towards that authenticity. People are going to gravitate to that exciting, intuitive, caring, imaginative, creative energy that you're able to put out in the world, that you're able to now put out in the world. So we have a nice positive end to this reading that, as with a lot of tarot readings, I mean, this tells us there's a lot of struggles that you have encountered, that you are currently encountering. But if we take a step back, get the big picture, take a deep breath, find some balance, tap into the things that make us happy, try not to overthink things, we can work towards getting what we want, getting what we deserve. Because we all deserve to be ourselves, to be accepted for being ourselves, to be loved and affirmed. Yeah. I'm often told I am positive to the point of being toxic. Well, positivity is a strength. We can combine that with temperance, find balance and peace, and tap into the strengths you have, like positivity, and find ways that you can use that positivity to build you up. And, you know, maybe this is a time to also create new connections with people that fully embrace the authentic you, if there aren't many people in your life that currently do. Because I know once I came out and started my transition, I started connecting with people in much deeper ways that I never thought I'd be able to, and started connecting with new people and many new people and more people. So, okay, Chloe has a beautiful voice. Oh, thank you. All right, Casey, what's next? Just pick a card. Well, while I'm waiting for Casey, I can do a quick... Hey, Ren. Glad you could stop by. Hope you have something good for dinner. Hey, Kara. Give Tipsy a squitch. I mean, we can all say hello. Say hello to the kitty. I know you can hear me. Your ears move. Whatever. Say hello to the grumpy kitty. Sammy, I have a question. Holidays can be pretty stressful, especially for queer folks spending time around family they don't often see. As the year comes to a close, what do I need to know? What a little loaf. Yep, she's my little cat loaf. Well, before I jump into this reading for Sammy, reminder, give this a thumbs up. Helps the algorithm, helps everything. And, you know, give this a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, check out the Patreon, all that fun stuff. Go to the description below. You know, do know that I will be taking a little hiatus, but I do have a big backlog of videos. Backlog, is that the right word for that? So if you're new to the channel, I mean, there is a lot of content to peruse. Lots of old live streams, but also lots of content about lots of things related to transition, some lighthearted, some serious. I think there's well over 100 videos at this point. Even with me, you know, taking down some videos over time that just, you know, sometimes I realize some videos are like, you know, I've grown since then. And this video doesn't really mesh with the present Chloe, and that's okay, because we all grow all the time, or should be striving to grow. And what do I need to know? Yes, what Casey said. To those who are joining, please keep the chat room nice and positive. Thank you. And thank you, Casey and Trucy and Zoe, our wonderful moderators. Okay. Especially with queer folks. Okay, yeah. How many times am I gonna read that? My brain is not storing it. What do I need to know as the year comes to a close? This could be good. So we have a month left in the year. We have a spread called the Eyeball, which allows us to see ahead. It offers us a glimpse of the near future. So this can give us a variety of things. Maybe we could do something a little broader. For the future. What will help you? What will hinder you? What is your unrealized potential? Where you stand? Where you aspire to? Understanding the past. Yeah. What the universe wants you to be. Very existential. What do we think? What do you need to know? Sorry, phone almost died and had kitty problems. That's okay. Hope Kitty is okay. Hello, Grumpy Kitty. All right, let's see. What do we got? I know there's pages in here that have other... Choosing a tarot spread. Okay. Yeah, these are all 3-card spreads. Okay, let's see. Just trying to see what might be good. There's many different ways we can approach the tarot. Well, we'll just go ahead and do this one. This one will get very specific. But it tells us lots of details about, some about the past month, a lot about our current month, and possibilities for the near future beyond that. Fortunately, he's better now, but don't want to dwell on that. Okay. So, this represents overview of the month. And our final card. No major arcana. Interesting. So this card, we're thinking of the question, what do you need to know? The holidays are a tough time for all of us that are queer and or trans, or for many of us. But what do you need to know? The Eight of Wands. So this reading is going to tell us a little bit about, you know, each card kind of represents a week over this coming month. So this can give us a lot of detail over where this month might be going, what we need to know, how we can prepare, what we can do each week as we approach the holidays. So we have the Eight of Wands, Zombie Cheerleader. Fun. I can never get this like to focus properly. The Eight of Wands. You're at the back of the book. The Eight of Wands. 8 bones. So this represents the previous month. What do we need to know? What can we learn from the past? Hey everyone. Hey Kelly. I'm glad you could stop by, even if it's just for a moment. Okay, the Eight of Wands is a positive card. It brings lots of communication. Felt held back. You'll soon have positive news. Oh, excuse me. All your projects grow wings. Don't feel you have to say yes to everything. Choose wisely. Couple of readings to show. Okay. Okay. Good news. Good news. So what can we learn from the past month? This tells us about the previous month. While the Eight of Wands is about good news, excitement, travel, adventure, all those things. So we look at the previous month. You know, a lot of us maybe did travel for the holidays. A lot of us maybe had excitement times, or maybe had wishes for exciting news and exciting opportunities and exciting connections with people. And you know, this is a time, you know, maybe this can tell us to reflect on how did, for those of us that did see family or friends, chosen family for Thanksgiving, how did that go? How did you want it to go? Were those different? And based on that experience, how do you want to approach the holidays? You know, did it go well? Then, you know, maybe you're excited to see family. If it didn't go well, it might be a time to, you know, really ask, how can you take care of yourself as the holiday season approaches? How can you set boundaries? How can you, you know, find chosen family, connect with them, the people that, you know, maybe aren't family by blood, but are family by choice, which is often even more powerful. So the next card we have is the Nine of Wands. We have lots of wands today, lots of powerful energy. So, the Nine of Wands represents an overview of the current month of December. So, the Knight of Wands shows that you are in a very strong position. You have fought long and hard to get to where you are and have endured heavy challenges. Being vigilant can be exhausting, so use your energy wisely. Plan meticulously, don't overexert yourself. Also highlights a balance between being defended and being defensive. Protect your boundaries, but find balance. Okay. Okay. Can also show an unwillingness to show up in various areas of our lives out of fear of rejection and criticism. So it could be telling us it's time to let go because we have worked hard to get to this point. So overview of the month. I think this feels appropriate. Well, I don't know if I showed the card. That one's interesting. I feel like this feels appropriate because, I mean, it's about, you know, really tapping into our strength. Really, you know, it can be, the holidays can be a very scary, stressful, uncertain time for a lot of us who are queer and or trans, a lot of us who are in the LGBTQ plus community, or, you know, we know that pain is coming that we want to try to avoid, and, you know, we may fear it, we may know it, but, you know, this is telling us that we are strong where we currently are. Again, tap into that theme of resilience. We are very resilient. We are very, very strong. Just think of how much we've had to go through to be able to accept ourselves and take the steps towards being ourselves. You know, to take our steps towards being ourselves in a society that says being ourselves is not what society wants for us. But we do it anyway because we want to live our truth, and we know we will feel more fulfilled and happy for doing it. So this is about staying in your strength, but tapping into balance. You know, setting your boundaries, but not doing it to the point where it creates, you know, excessive exhaustion, using too much energy, or it denies you of things that you do want. So it's about just being very mindful about how you spend your time, who you spend it with. Again, find those people that fulfill you. And, you know, for some of us, it may be an obligation to go home for the holidays. But if, you know, it's typically not a good time, this could be a year where we, you know, establish stricter boundaries. You know, maybe we take it to one extreme and be like, you know, I saw my family at Thanksgiving. That was enough. Sorry, fam. I'm not going home for, you know, the winter holidays this year. And if that's what you need, you know, tap into that. It could also be like, you know, normally I spend a week out there, but that's too much. This year, maybe I'll just do a day trip, maybe a couple days. You know, really just tapping into finding what really works for you and not being afraid to stand strong into whatever you need. So now we're getting into very specific cards here. Gotta go. Thanks for all you do. Aw, thanks, Erica. If you're still here, you might already be gone. So this card represents the first week. This represents this week. So, you know, one way I'm envisioning the rest of the next few cards is that this can kind of tell us how do we gradually plan for the, you know, over the course of the month. Because, you know, a lot of our holiday visits usually happen in the latter half of the month. And I can see this as like, what do we need to know? What can we be doing each week to kind of figure out what it is we need in our lives? And the Three of Cups is a positive card. Look at that. Happily married. Zombie bride. Three of Cups tells us it's time to celebrate. Shows parties, reunions. This is a time of indulgence. There's a feeling of abundance. You know, maybe a time to enjoy some wine. Whatever your pleasure. Now is the time. Now is the time to, you know, like, give into indulgence so you can have emotional healing. So you can heal your mind and body. And, you know, the traditional card, you know, has 3 people toasting. So it's also about finding the people that make you feel good, that increase your energy, that soothe any ailments you may be having. So here we go. So this is our first of the month. So, you know, one way I could see this is like we may be dreading what's coming later in the month, but that's not here yet. So, you know, what good is it going to do us to just continually worry? You know, at this point in time, you know, this is telling us, you know, there's only so much we can control, there's only so much we can worry about, and, you know, maybe the time right now is just to let go, let loose, and not think about it. You know, we've done a lot of worrying, and what difference is it going to make if we worry for 1 hour or 1 week? You know, maybe take that time to worry, set aside that time to worry, and then be like, all right, now I'm going to have fun. Because that can also be an ease to the worries, and that can also help us get clear on who are the people that really give us life. Now we have... You're so not an oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been up since like 5:45 today. So yeah, we have the 8 of Swords. That's very interesting. Got a person trapped inside a giant rib cage. It is a cage, reaching for a sword. And it's fitting because, I mean, the 8 of Swords is about feeling trapped, confined, restricted. So we're tapping into the 2nd week. We're getting closer. This may be due to a series of bad experiences. You may begin to wonder if things can ever improve. You may be anxious due to an unsatisfactory bond with someone. The unfortunate 8 of Swords commonly reveals problems, pain, frustration, panic. Lots of fun stuff. Could show someone who's in a role that doesn't suit them. Okay. Yeah. Could also be a very literal feeling restricted due to illness or being incapacitated. So, you know, the 2nd week is, you know, maybe as we're continuing to approach the holidays, we're feeling more constricted. We're feeling like more things are out of our control. And, you know, this is a time to realize that this won't last forever. You know, because you may be wondering, like, everything feels terrible. This is a horrible time of year. I hate this. This sucks. I'm panicking. I'm anxious. But, you can release yourself from these bonds. It takes determination. And this is the time to ask others for support. Like, this person could be, you know, being like, hey friend, can you hand me that sword? Calling them up, assuming that they have their cell phone on them in this strange contraption that they have found themselves in. Some sort of saw trap. So, I mean, you're feeling restricted and confined, and things are hopeless and out of your control. So, you know, external influences are having you feel trapped, so reach out to things outside of yourself to help you. You know, find the strengths in your environment. So again, this is a time to really find those people that can support you. You know, you're going to maybe be feeling very constricted and trapped in a situation you don't want to be in, but realize you do have power to reach out to people who can offer you support. Even if they can't change the situation, they can, at the very least, hopefully reduce some of the stress or make the bad things more manageable. These are pretty on the nose. But 3rd week, we have another sword. Lots of swords. Week number 3. We have the 6 of Swords. So we're getting into what, like the 15th of December. We're getting past the Ides of December. Do people even use that term? Only for Ides of March. But the 6 of Swords shows you moving on from a situation or relationship and enjoying a period of peace and harmony. May manifest mentally, may manifest physically, maybe a bit of both. Could mentally move on from something or physically move on from something. It could show people spending time apart. Could show a relationship ending. And this may be positive or negative depending on the situation, of course. And very literally, it can show taking a break from our usual environments. You know, it could involve spending time away from people. It can involve traveling. It can involve, you know, really just a change. So, I mean, if we think of, in the context of, if we celebrate like Christmas, this is approaching Christmas. We're not quite there yet. You know, we're in the third week of December. You know, this probably end of this third week is when a lot of people probably start traveling, start seeing family, start spending time with family, or they travel to see you. And the Six of Swords is about moving on from a situation, moving on from relationships. So, you know, again, ask yourself, is it time to set those boundaries? Is it time to maybe even take the steps of cutting people out of your life that really only bring pain and misery? So that way you can prioritize the people that do make you feel alive. Moving on from one relationship in order to invite a more positive relationship into your life, or to be able to just focus more on one that is important to you that you already have. So it's, again, you're probably going to be at this point really thinking about, you may be dreading. And, you know, I don't want to say that the holidays can be very great for some people, but for a lot of people it is very stressful. And understandably, you know, after a long year, you probably want some peace and harmony, and the holidays with family don't always bring peace and harmony. So this is about really establishing what is it that you need. And if you need to make a change, the Six of Swords is telling us now is the time. Or, you know, mid-month is the time. A change is a-coming. And now we have the fourth week, the end of the month. Okay. So thinking this is the end of the month. The Four of Swords. There's a lot going on in these cards. So this is about rest. The soldier is resting. Prosperity after destroying the zombie horde. The Four of Swords has the meaning of time out. I feel like that's quite fitting. You may be taking a rest from work, a personal project, or a relationship. And, you know, I think of relationships. They're often in the context of romantic relationships and a lot of these readings, but, you know, I think of that more broadly. Just any connection you have with a person in your life, any person. Romantic, platonic, familial, coworker, whatever it may be. And, yep, often just comes at a time. This shows recovery from stress. It's time to take some quiet time and conserve your energy and rejuvenate yourself. Just need some, you might need more mental space and private time than usual. So this is a nudge to really turn inward and focus on yourself. This could tell you counseling or therapy is something in your future that you may need or may want. So it's the end of the month. I see at least two ways of interpreting this. There are many ways to interpret this. I mean, this could be like we need to prioritize ourselves after spending time with family, because we're going to need to rest and recharge. So maybe we need to set aside extra days to rest and recharge before we get back to the hustle and bustle of school or work or whatever, if we're able to have the luxury to take that time off. It could also tell us that this is the year to take a rest and take a break from seeing family in the first place. So whatever it is, it's telling us we're probably going to be tired and we're going to have to make a decision to prioritize ourselves. And in the past, we may not have done that, but now is the time to lean into our gut instincts, Our body is telling us what it needs. Our bodies tell us what it needs. And now is the time to listen. Because, you know, we can be very good at ignoring those cues. Ignoring those cues of what the body needs and wants. Our last card of the spread. We have the Queen of Wands, the Zombie Nurse. I think we had this one today. Yep, believe we did. Again, this one's about stepping into your power. And our final card is about possibilities for the next month. So we can even think about this, possibilities for the new year. Possibilities for January, but we could even expand this, like, what are the possibilities and new beginnings that we have lying in front of us in 2022? Will the pandemic finally be over? So, you know, this is again about being in touch with your intuition, you know, making choices in relationships that prioritize happiness, success, fulfillment, feeling supported. Okay. This is a time to really step into your power. I mean, we could think of this in the very cheesy way of like New Year's resolution, making a change. But the tarot is telling us, like, let's consider the possibilities. You know, it's a new month, it's a new year, but it's also just maybe if we're putting off things, you know, regardless of the fact that it's a new month and a new year, this is just a time where we've had some time to consider some tough decisions, you know, go through some tough interactions or make some tough choices to avoid tough interactions. We've taken some time to rest. Now we've been rejuvenated, and now is time to really take some perspective and step into what is important to us and step into our power. And I think that's very fitting that rest and rejuvenation comes before that, because we need that. Otherwise, we get burned out and we can't step into our power. So there's your next month. Set boundaries, rest, rejuvenate. You know, prioritize your time. If a relationship needs to end or change, don't be afraid to do it. Just be willing to accept the consequences of any decision that you make. Because, like I said, and as you probably know, every decision has pros and cons. Every decision has consequences. And if the positives outweigh the negatives, then, you know, maybe this year is the year to make some of those tough decisions that maybe you've wanted to make for a long time. There you have it, folks. That is our next month. Hopefully that was helpful. Was that you, Zoe, that asked that one? Off topic, but you haven't yet hit that like button. Yes. That like and subscribe button is Tipsy. She needs pets, so pet those buttons. Okay, that was bad, but tap those buttons. It was perfect. Look at that. Catloaf has slightly moved. She is curled up into a smaller ball. It's your turn to shine, Tipsy. People are hitting that like button for you, sleepyhead. You're sleepy just like your mama. Ugh. Look at this kitty. You're such a loaf. Look at that face of happiness. Like, where am I right now? This is how she looks like 90% of the time. She always looks groggy. She's just very chill. Alright, say hello, everyone. Say hello. Ugh. Love from Tipsy. She's a happy baby. Despite looking grumpy and groggy, she purrs up a storm. With the outstretched paw, mother, no, yep. Cracks me up when she just puts her paw straight into my face. This isn't my bed. Where did my bed go? I got a little dog. Can I ask a reading on how my doctor's appointment is going to go tomorrow? Absolutely. What does this doctor appointment entail? Is this, you know, making an assumption based off of, you know, the channel I run? most of the people here. Is this appointment about, you know, HRT or, you know, hormone therapy? Hormone therapy, maybe. But doctor's appointment, how's it gonna go? Cards for the future. General tarot spreads. Context where you need to focus. Okay. How will it go? Let's try this one. How will this go tomorrow? So we have context to the situation, where you need to focus, and the outcome. How will it go? Or how about we just do situation, action, outcome? That one sounds good. Keep it simple. How will I Got a Little Dog's appointment go tomorrow? So we have situation, action, outcome. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so our situation is the Page of Pentacles, a Page of Hazards. We have met you today already. The Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles is somebody who's methodical, reliable, dedicated, practical, trustworthy. Reward for effort. Maybe starting a new venture, starting a new adventure, whatever it may be. But this reveals progress and new beginnings. It's time to nurture yourself and nurture your skills, all that stuff. So, you know, this doctor appointment may usher in new information, new beginnings, exciting opportunities, getting clarity. I'm not sure what the doctor's appointment entails, but the Page of Hazards is telling us that, you know, maybe this is something that's very important to you, and there's positive news awaiting and new beginnings awaiting, depending on how, you know, whatever news comes. And we have the King of Pentacles, or the King of Hazards in this deck. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Very, very kinly. So, this is a person with a plan. Works hard, usually well off, reliable, generous, makes the most of what they have. Okay. How do we apply this to a... Okay. Security is important. Happy when stable. Firm boundaries. Will not tolerate those looking to take what is theirs. Okay. So how will it go? This is an action step. This could be an action step that you're taking in the context of this doctor's appointment. And, you know, this could tell us remain grounded, remain calm in this interaction with the doctor. You know that you know yourself best. You know, you have firm boundaries, not letting bullshit, not tolerating bullshit if, you know, the appointment is not going the way you want it to go. You know that you have the strength and stability, you have the assets to be able to handle the situation. And if need be, you can reach out to other forms of support. You can reach out to other doctors if the news you get is not the news that you want and you want a second opinion. None of this is meant to be medical advice, though. And lastly, we have the outcome. I gotta throw in that little disclaimer there. The High Priestess, getting the major arcana. Okay. Hidden knowledge, intuition. Significant dreams are the gifts of the High Priestess. It's time for incubation and privacy to go inward, deepening your relationship with yourself, trusting your internal sense of self and internal sense of knowing. Okay. Predicts learning. predicts a new journey, and following your intuition on that journey to figure out where you're going. Picturing you as a hippie, don't worry. Ask me why, but you would make an awesome hippie. Oh. I've had people say that they think I'm a hippie just based on the way I dress, the way I show up. Yeah, somebody told me that in person like a couple weeks ago. I'm like, cool, got a hippie style. We have the High Priestess again. The outcome of our situation. We have an appointment, and we're unsure of how it will go. We need to tap into our strength and our assets, our stability, believe that there will be a positive outcome and know that we have the tools to work towards that outcome or be able to handle an outcome that is not what we want. And the High Priestess tells us at a time for inner reflection. So regardless of how this goes, this tells us a time that however this appointment goes, it's a time to really just reflect and think about what it is you want and need in your life. Is this a major bit of news you're getting? Is there a change on the horizon? Or is it something mundane and now it's just a time to look inward to figure out the next steps? I think we can all use a bit of the High Priestess in our lives. Taking the time to look inward and not getting so caught up in the world around us. Sometimes we get so involved in other things in our lives that we forget where we fit into our own lives. Taking a step back can really help us. Now that is all I see now. All right. It is almost 8. Hey, Alex. I think we'll go ahead and wrap things up. Apologize if I did not get to all of your questions, but hopefully you could pull something out of a lot of the readings, even if I know I saw some of you commenting that some of these readings resonated with you, even if it wasn't you who asked the question. I think there's a lot of insight that we can gain. I mean, a lot of tarot, in my opinion, is just like the answers are within us. And the tarot just encourages us to find those answers and to tap into our intuition and take those steps to move towards what we know to be true all along. But I think I'll do a final reading just to see what do we need to focus on. I mean, we did the next month, but what do we need to focus on? Just as we move into the new year, what is one more thing we can focus on to introduce more positive energy into all of our lives? I'll just do a simple 1 card. It's quite interesting. I shuffled the deck and the same card was still on the top. We have the Knight of Swords. There's a lot going on in this picture. There's a lot going on. The Knight of Swords. But the swords are, among other things, about strength and determination. And the Knight is very determined and driven. The Knight of Swords, a strong sense of themselves and their mission. Maybe quirky and entertaining. Incisive, forthright, and intelligent. Prepared to fight for their beliefs. Okay. Okay. There can be a dark side, may be so incisive and so forthright that it causes drama or conflict in relationships, leaving others to make peace while charging ahead to the next obstacle or obsession. Okay. So, as an influence, this is an incisive force. Can tell us that there's unpredictable, tempestuous times ahead. There's a roller coaster drama of highs and lows. Sudden truths may come to light. Underlying conflicts are exposed. This may be illuminating, stressful, bewildering, confusing, overwhelming, depending on your position and interpretation. Okay. And it can also come to show disputes and tension within family or romantic relationships. And even though you may not be responsible for the trouble that has occurred, you're still left with the stress that has resulted. So what counts now is how you recover. So, I mean, in many ways, you know, be prepared, expect the unexpected, and be able to take the time to recover. You know, there's going to be unexpected forces, there's going to be struggles and stressors outside of our control, but know that we're able to take the time and look inward. What counts is being able to take that time, being able to allow ourselves to recover and rejuvenate. So the way we introduce positive energy into our lives is about embracing and expecting the unexpected, and reminding ourselves that we have the power and strength and resilience to handle the unexpected, to cope with the stress that may be hitting us in the coming days, weeks, and months. Well, there you have it, folks. Very early days. That sounds rough. Cape, I'm really sad. If I could, I would give you a hug. Towel-y Cape. Well, do know that we do have a nice community here. And hopefully, you know, even if you can't find people who support you in real life, you know that you have found a community of people that is very supportive here. You know, I think a lot of people would agree that the community surrounding this channel, the Discord we have, all of that stuff has been very supportive and continues to be very supportive. Because sometimes it is hard to find support in person. Sometimes it is hard to find community in person. But know that there are people online, and obviously it's not the same thing, but you know, I like to always say, like, know that there are people out there waiting to meet you, waiting to love you, waiting to embrace you, and waiting to do so for you, you know, just as authentically, the authentic you. Not some version of you that they want you to be, but who you actually are. Well, we have come to a close for the evening, for the year. This has been a stressful, exciting, busy, all over the place year. Lots of ups and downs, lots of positives, lots of challenges. You know, I think a lot of us can probably relate. A lot of years have their ups and downs, but I think these past 2 years especially have been... The world has turned upside down, which has caused our personal worlds, in many cases, to be turned upside down or thrown into disarray. When you're here, your family. Oh goodness, I agree. And I know that's a cheesy quote from Olive Garden. But yes, when you're here, you are family. Make that like button purr. Yes, yes, yes. We don't have unlimited, but yep, I believe it is Olive Garden. But yes, as I was saying, you know, this has been a crazy year. I do like to, you know, give myself a pat on the back for all the way up to this point, being able to post 1 or 2 videos nearly every week for almost an entire year, which is something that I had not done before this year. It had been much more sporadic before this year. And, you know, I think that's part of the reason why I want to take a break too, because it's been a lot. It's been exciting. It's been fun. And I know a lot of you have gotten a lot out of it. A lot of this has resonated. A lot of this has brought up a lot of important stuff for me. Some of the videos have been a way for me to process some of the stuff that I'm dealing with and share it with y'all in the hopes that it helps y'all. But yeah, it's just been a busy year, and now is a time to kind of go through some of the thoughts I had like near the beginning of the pandemic of like, okay, everything's been thrown into disarray. Let's use this to try to reevaluate and reprioritize my life. What is very important to me and how do I want things to look? You know, kind of just going through what are the things I can say no to so I can say yes to the things that are very important to me. And how can I go about doing that in a way that is enjoyable? Everything she's got going on, she's been a trooper. Oh, thank you, Casey. Applause to me. Yes. You know, on that note, you know, I have to say, only pursue a PhD if you're absolutely confident that it will get you to a career path that you desire and that you need it for your career path. Because it is no small endeavor, and I'm not saying that I don't think it's worth it for everything I've been through so far, and I don't regret it by any means, but it's a hell of an endeavor. Just a random little aside there. You know, don't take that decision lightly. You know, it'd be cool to be a doctor one day soon. You know, not a medical doctor, but, you know, a PhD doctor. But, you know, it also allows me to pursue a career that I want, a career that I will find fulfilling, a career that I might not have been able to pursue, at least not in the same capacity. So yes, stressors. Hopefully everybody can hopefully you all can take care of yourselves, surround yourselves with people who love you and support you. You know, surround yourself with, find activities that help you feel alive, that help feel like life is a worthwhile endeavor, you know, things that help you feel alive, all those sorts of things. You know, the year's wrapping up. Now's a time to rest and recover. And, you know, it's been a process for years now for me, but I feel like each year I get slightly better at it. You know, maybe 3 steps forward, 2 steps back at saying no and really revisiting what I want to prioritize, because there are lots of things I want to do with my life, but, you know, I gotta realize I gotta prioritize myself, but I also gotta prioritize what helps me feel fulfilled and cut out the bullshit. And I encourage all of y'all to do the same. Set those boundaries. Set those boundaries not just with, you know, family and stressful situations in your life, but set boundaries with your own time. So that way we can move towards what's important to us. Whether that is a job or a career or relationships, friendships, family. Being able to have certain experiences. But anyways, I could ramble. Yes, as Casey said, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Boxing Day, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy... I don't know. I know there's a lot of different holidays. Happy holidays. Happy end of the year. And, you know, I'll just read what Casey also said. Stay safe. Don't forget to love each other. Don't forget to give yourself some love too. Yes, give yourself a big hug. Give your pets a hug. Give your loved ones a hug. Give your friends a hug. You know, as long as it's safe to do in terms of social distancing and being around people that you feel comfortable being around, of course. But yes, Tipsy and I love you all. See you next year. I'll see those of you that are in the Discord. Super Solstice. See some of you that are in the Discord, you know, I'll see y'all there. And yeah, new and exciting adventures await. New directions for the channel, potentially. You know. Happy Honda days. Oh. All right, y'all. Tipsy and I love you. Give her one last, blow her one last kiss. Give her one last virtual hug. And I'll see you soon.